Could it be more chaos at the DMV as now the state legislature wants to put down a real ID emergency response on July 1st to get a gun or ammo on top of the new background check? So let's bring in our panel back in for more. Don Larson, Alex Tavlian, and Tara Lynn Gray. And Don, I want to start with you here. DMV, it's already chaotic. They're already dealing with trying to just get real IDs out to all drivers at this point, but now with this new State Department of Justice push to get real IDs to buy a gun or ammo starting July 1st. Is this the way the state should go?
Well, you're talking to the wrong person, because I've been waiting 3 months to get a license for my pickup. 3 months from the DMV.
And now gun owners will be on lockdown if they need to get gun.
And by July 1st, July 1st, that's a really limited amount of time. And I don't know how they're going to put that into effect. And if it goes to the DMV, it'll just add to the chaos that already exists there.
And Tara, I want to come to you. Gun owners are going to say you're continuing to infringe on our Second Amendment right.
I'm okay with that.
You're okay with this?
I'm okay with that. I don't necessarily agree with the implementation, July 1st. That's right around the corner. Yeah. I do agree that that will tax an already taxed DMV system, but I'm really okay with the additional ID requirements for gun ownership and the purchase of ammunition.
Alex, this sounds like it's a court case brewing to happen.
Oh, it certainly is. But it would be a court case brewing for people trying to board a United Airlines flight. I mean, it's the way the DMV is currently operating. It's a joke. I mean, it's P.T. Barnum's greatest dream. I mean, it is complete circus. And the fact of the matter is, the DMV has not cleaned up its act. They're still, as Don has evidenced, and I'm right there with them. I've been waiting 2 months for my driver's license to come in. It's insane. And so I'm not trying to buy a gun, but it's like, if you are, you're really up a creek.
I hate to brag, but mine came in just in time.
My husband's did too.
It did. Oh, well, there you go. I want to move on to President Trump. We've been talking about this because potentially there could be some kind of immigration roundup by ICE. He threatened it earlier in the week. He says it's going to start this next week. Do you believe it's actually going to happen? Alex, I'm going to start with you. Or was this campaign rhetoric as he launched his re-election in Florida on Tuesday?
I think it's a little bit, there's definitely some strong arming here. And I think for a lot of the folks who were facing final orders of removal, this is a get in gear. Go talk to the local ICE office and pack your bags. You've had your chances. It's time for you to go. And if this is kind of a nice little idle threat to get them to do it. I also think it is campaign rhetoric, and it's effective. At the end of the day, he's been promising really strong immigration enforcement, and he's delivering on it.
The ICE agents, we don't have a whole lot of them, Don. Are they really going to go almost door to door to start doing this roundup? It sounds a little bizarre.
Well, it sounds bizarre. Sending these people out to arrest, round up, where are they going to put them? I mean, I see a talk, but I don't see a plan. And I mean, after the experience we had with removing children from parents and not knowing what to do with them, this could be a mess all over. Well, it will be a mess all over again if this is what they do.
And to be fair, that was something that Bill Clinton put into plan when he was president.
It's still been a poorly executed plan to try and, suppress all of our Mexican nationals. I feel for these people. I mean, we need to be treating them better. Actually, in many ways, if the president could succeed in doing what he says he wants to do, it might shut the hotel industry down completely in California.
I'll tell you, and Tara, I want to come to you because we heard a very controversial commentary from Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, the New York Congresswoman, in an article, and here's the tweet on the screen right here, calling the migrant camps on the southern border concentration camps. Do you agree with what she's saying here? And if there's such a roundup like this, and as Don said, where do we put them? They would, I guess theoretically, they would go to these migrant camps. Do you see this as being almost like a Nazi-like atmosphere?
Well, I think that anytime you detain people against their will, that it is problematic. I think the manner in which it is being done and the manner in which our president is talking about it, I think it is reminiscent of...
But if Congress isn't going to pass an immigration reform bill, is the president using this as a good negotiating tactic to
I
do
think he
what he
is.
can to solve it in his own way.
Well, dare I say that I agree with Alex here. I do think it's a bit of both. I do indeed. I think he's a showman first, and this is his show right now.
Do you think he'll actually show his hand and do this, Alex?
You know, having seen stuff on the federal government side of things, you know, I don't. I do think we do have the capacity. I'm not going to argue. Unlike Don, I do believe the federal government has multiple institutions capable of handling this level of action in terms of detaining people. In terms of rounding them up is a very different story. But in terms of we have a federal penitentiary system that is more than capable of handling this number of people.
Again, we're talking about migrants here, and they did come in illegal immigrants. They did come illegally, but again, you can't just go and round them all up. It just sounds.
Well, the manpower alone.
Alone doesn't sound. Yeah. I want to move on to this last bit of item here. Congressman Jim Costa endorses Kamala Harris for president. Don, do you think Congressman Jim Costa hadn't even seen a Democratic debate just yet? We're waiting for that this next coming week. So was it too soon, or
I think he jumped the gun a little bit. I would, in his position, I would wait till I saw the debates, and then I would make the recommendation, because we've got a lot of time before the election in 2020, and the debates are going to be next week. He could have waited maybe a week and a half and then made his recommendation, and she would have, if this is who he wants, she could have very well validated his opinion by her presentation, and he would be in a better position.
Tara, do you believe Jim Costa made the right move here, even though he says, I'm good friends with Joe Biden? But this is interesting that he goes this route.
I applaud him on picking his candidate early and not being afraid to stand up and go for what he knows.
Why hasn't T.J. Cox done it then?
I don't know. That's a good question. Let's ask him.
Yeah, Alex, I'll let you have the last word on this.
Yeah, it's you know, as the lone Republican here, this is a savvy move. You know what? Win or lose with Kamala Harris, he's made a new friend in the U.S. Senate. Minimum. At the minimum, he's got a friend in the U.S. Senate.
So you think he's positioning himself because he knows he's got to run again in 2020?
Yeah. At minimum, he's got a good friend in the U.S. Senate, and at best, he's got a friend in the White House. How do you lose with that?
And maybe a little bit extra campaign dollars?
Who knows?
I don't know. Guys, great conversation. We appreciate it much, all right? All right, still to come, our tweet of the week. Stay with us.
You're watching Sunday Morning.